Hi, I'm Allie, and this is dilly-dallie. You don't know this, but this is actually the third time I have attempted this video, um, this first video. So this will be the first one you're seeing, but just know, going into this, that I have done this twice already, and decided that we're going to try again. So the first couple of times I did this, I really just talked about books and what this channel would look like just about books. After a little bit of thinking, I also want this to be just about media in general. So I'm gonna answer like some questions about books, but I'm also gonna like push some stuff about media just in general, like movies, TV show, music, because I'm constantly shoving any type of media into my ears, eyes, and brain at all times. So I want to give a space for all of that, not just reading books. As you can see, books is probably going to be a fairly large part of it, just from the amount of books that I read, but I also want to start a space that I can talk about the other types of media, and not really sure what those videos would really look like, but also warn you slash let you know that it's not just gonna be books. So after that long intro that means nothing yet, kind of want to talk about what this channel's gonna be, what its goals are from my perspective, but really just want to talk about what type of media I'm gonna be talking about, what type of things could be coming out on this channel, and even just some ideas that I have and topics that I want to discuss. So first thing I want to kind of talk about is just why I'm creating this. The amount of time I spend enjoying and consuming media is astronomical compared to all other things in my life. If I'm at work, I'm blasting music in my ears or a podcast. If I'm driving, music or a podcast is going. If I'm free, not doing anything, I'm watching TV shows, I'm watching movies, I'm reading books, I'm listening to audiobooks. So I just wanted a space where I can kind of talk about all of the media that I do listen to or watch or read, due to the fact that I don't really talk about this in my real life. Obviously, I recommend books and music and all that type of stuff to the people in my life, but I don't do like deep dives with people in my actual real life, not to the void of the internet slash YouTube. I really wanted a space to be able to talk about that, to let all the things that kind of live in my brain at all times out, and hopefully someone will enjoy what I have to say, or makes them think about something, or something to that effect, and maybe even start a conversation about that media or about those ideas. So first thing I'll kind of talk about is books. From the background, you can kind of see that I have a crap ton of them. I've read a crap ton of them. So kind of want to like talk about my journey with books. I really found my love of reading very young, very early in my life. In about second grade, my second grade teacher was like, "Hey, Allie, I know that you have hated reading up to this point. You're gonna have to do it." She's like, "Girlie, you're gonna have to. This is part of the world." So she shoved the book in my hands and said, "Hey, go sit in the hallway and read this book." That book was Magic Treehouse. And I don't remember much of the book as a whole, or the series, but I do remember I went out to that hallway and sat and read a good chunk of the book, but it was very much a starting point of like, hey, this is going to be something I am going to love for the rest of my life. Fast forward to junior high, high school, I was constantly reading, probably reading about 20 to 30 books a year, outside of the ones I already had to read for school. Same thing in college, I was doing the same thing, and now with, I wouldn't say more free time, but with my like 9 to 5 work job, I have different free time that I use a lot of it to read books. I now read about 40 to 50 a year. I think last year I read 56, so I read a good chunk, about one a week, but it's never actually one a week. It's more like 3 or 4 in 2 weeks, and then I don't read for like a month. But it's a constant love of mine, and it just grows and changes all the time with like what I'm interested in, what I really like reading. From like the things you can kind of see behind me, I am a big fan of romance, science fiction, fantasy, even like young adult, all of those things as well. Not a huge thriller, horror, nonfiction, that type of stuff. I will read those if they do interest me, like if there's an author I'm really interested in or a topic for like nonfiction. I will read those. It's just not as easy for me to pick them up. I am very much a mood reader, so if I pick up a book and I read like the first 10 pages and I'm like, I'm not feeling it, I will both try to attempt to continue to read the book, but odds are I won't make it and I'll just change books. I'll usually end up going back to ones I've already picked up, but sometimes those fall off and get picked up in a year or so. So I'm kind of all over the place on that front of like when I read and what I read. But my job does make me use my brain a lot. So last year I had a lot of romance books on the books that I did read because I didn't, in the way that I read romance, I didn't have to use my brain as much. On the sci-fi and fantasy stuff, when it's very much like world building, like you have to understand a lot to kind of know what's going on, I wasn't able to read those because I was just like, my brain is too tired. So romance ones are usually, the ones that I read are normally set in our world. Like there's nothing new I have to learn. I just get to know about the characters. But now that I've talked about books for a while, I'm going to kind of talk about the other media. But movie-wise, I have truly always loved movies. I kept an updated letterbox and all of that type of stuff for a very long time until the pandemic hit. I know it's kind of a hot topic or sore subject or something a lot of people don't want to bring up on these type of videos, but me and my family used to go see movies at the movie theater on a weekly basis, basically until the world shut down. And after that, I really found love in media in a different way. So I really started listening to like podcasts and watching TV shows a lot more, or watching like YouTube channels, videos. So I'm trying to find my love in movies again, and that I've like set a goal for myself to go see movies in movie theaters again, to make sure that I know when movies are coming out, so when they do, I can either make a list of them or say like, hey, this comes out on this day, that next weekend I'm gonna watch that movie. So, and again, kind of like how the books, like I need specific things when my brain is tired from work, that's kind of how I also am for movies. So I feel like a lot of movies need a lot of attention, especially when they're more like thought-provoking and ones that do interest me, and I'm always like, my brain is so tired. So I'm gonna try and make myself watch some more movies. So there's a couple that I'm already excited that have come out, and a couple that are coming out in the next couple of months that I really want to like talk about and stuff like that. But that's kind of my background movie-wise. This is something I used to really love and really enjoy, and I've been struggling to get back into that. So I want to make it a priority for this year / this channel to be able to watch those and come and chat about them just in general. TV shows, I consume so many. Big fan of like mini series where there's like 6 or 8 episodes that are like basically movie length, like hour and a half long. But I also love D&D content, and I know those are like, it's a weird, not TV show, not movie, but the lengths are like 4 hours. If you're watching like something like Critical Role, or like 2 hours for like Dimension 20, or if you're listening to podcast wise, like those are normally like hour and a half, depending on which ones you're listening to. So I really found my love for those in 2020 pretty much. I listened to a little bit before then, but that's a lot of the, I would say, like TV content that I watch currently. So I also want to have a space for that, because like it is TV in my mind, but it's also very much D&D. It's Dungeons and Dragons. It is a game that is not in all fantasy, but it is very much something that I really enjoy, but it's a very niche thing compared to like reading books and stuff like that. Like you have to know a lot going in, or you have to be willing to learn a lot going in. There are some shows that will like kind of hold your hand through the rules and explain it. What really got me into it was like Join the Party on Multitude shows. It's a podcast. But the first, I think it was like 3 or 4 episodes that they go through all the rules as they're playing. So it was very easy to pick up that type of stuff. But like Critical Role and Dimension 20, they kind of assume that you know what's going on as far as D&D. There's a couple of seasons, like on Dimension 20, I think there's like Dungeons and Drag Queens, where it is the main person that started the show DMing, and they have all these popular drag queens come on that don't know how to play D&D, or most of them don't, and so they will explain the rules while they're playing. That was a very long tangent just to say that is something I'm also going to talk about. I don't know how often I'll do videos like this, but some of my shows just started new seasons. My shows, like, they're mine. Some of the D&D stuff that I watch has just started new seasons or just finished ones. And I would love to be able to just talk about those just in general. And maybe it's a one video every quarter or something like that, just to be like, hey guys, remember that I love D&D, and do a little bit like that. Next thing is just like other TV shows, because I kind of went off and talked just about D&D ones, but other TV shows just like in general. There are some like book adaptions that I really like and want to talk about. There are some shows that I just really enjoy. Even just adaptions for like Percy Jackson, like that's one of my favorite book series that I've ever read ever. And that they're doing that TV adaptation. Season 1 has been out for about a year. They're currently filming season 2. So I reread that first book when that season came out. So I will probably be doing the same thing for season 2. So maybe even documenting that, not like a whole one chapter for this episode or something like that, but maybe like over the course of it releasing, and then at the end I release some big video. But that's like some of the ideas. And then last ones are like music, just in general. I have a very like few artists that I stick to a lot, but I do pretty much listen to any type of music. I don't always find every type of music easily, because I have to be in the right mindset. Again, I have to, whenever new albums come out, I'm like, I want to be able to focus on this. So like if a new thing does come out, I go and take a drive so I can just listen to that music and not have any other distractions besides like driving, because that's like an active thing. but I can like passively listen to the music. But just kind of talking about like new releases or albums or movie scores, because I absolutely love scores just in general of movies and what that music looks like and feels like. I even have a whole score playlist on my Spotify. Spotify will be brought up a lot. That's where I listen to all of my music. But I also just like make playlists for like characters. So right now I've got one that I really like based off of the Locked Tomb, like 2 of the main characters in that. That I've just like made a playlist of songs that I'm like, this fits their vibe, or this fits the vibe of the world that they're in. So some other ideas that I've had that are very interesting to me and things that I kind of want to do with this is doing like deep dives. Like I've kind of already mentioned that I would do like, oh, hey, here's like a TV thing, a music thing, but also for like book wise of like going into one book and spending, who knows, an hour and a half talking about it. I'm actually currently rereading a book I just read in like November. And fully annotating, taking notes, marking quotes that I just couldn't even write about because I was like, these are so fantastic that if I was to ever talk about it, I'd literally just have to pull out the book and be like, look at this. So I'm hoping to do some content kind of like that, of just talking about things that I really enjoy, and deep diving into it, to do like a deep analysis. I'm not even sure how to say it, but like these videos aren't going to be like a deep analysis of like the writing or anything like that. It's more of just what has really interested me and like tickled my brain, and things that just jump off the page for me. And even if that's just reading quotes from little sections and chapters, or if it's talking about being like, my brain went to this, or like I saw a post on some social media that talked about this scene that was very good and I want everybody to know about it. So all of that to say, I have a lot of ideas and thoughts about media, and I just want a place to talk about it and create a community that would welcome that, or want to talk about it, or sit in the depths of YouTube that no one ever sees ever. Which is also fine. But really just very excited for what this could be, but also just a way for me to chat about things that I really enjoy, to the one person that will find this video. And this isn't what I do normally. Don't know if you can tell that, but this is something I'm very excited about, but it is something I am not a natural at. I am a pretty introverted person on a normal scale, but I do love talking about this stuff, and normally all of these conversations kind of live in my head or live in journals that I have, or in little bursts of, I need the world to know about this on social media. But I want to create these longer videos, go into more detail, so that somebody else can see it, so that I can watch this later and see like, oh yeah, that was really fun. I really liked that. And hopefully it'll get people to read these books or watch these movies or consume the media that I'm talking about, just because it is something that I really enjoy. Just on a basic human level. So that's kind of all I have. The first couple of videos on here will probably be ones that I mentioned a little bit earlier in the video, just because those are the ideas that are really sticking with me right now, and are interesting to me. But whether this gains any traction or no traction, I think I will probably continue to be posting stuff, just in general, for fun. But really appreciate if you like and subscribe. Crazy thing to say. But I also have a couple social media accounts if you want to follow me other places. I've got the same user on Tumblr and on Blue Sky, I believe. Don't have any other ones right now because social media is hard just in general. But I think that's all I've got. So thank y'all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.